Well, as you can see, I have the blue go-kart on the lift. I raised it up and I made some essentially jack stands to put under there to stabilize it. But the one thing I was going to check out today was I was wanting to convert from this drum brake to a disc brake. And one of the things that I discovered was actually the sprocket and the drum are one piece. So if I take this off and put a disc brake on there, I'm going to have to probably either leave this sprocket, cut the drum off of it, and then put a separate disc over here in this space, or leave it, try to bolt the disc to the drum some kind of way, or just leave the drum on there and just add the brake over to the side. Something. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. So what we may do is take the front wheels off, check the front brake pads and all. I've never been into them to see what they are. But on this one it has, I hooked the cables up for the front wheels. They come into here and you can sort of see it there. But when you push on the brake pedal, the cable just barely does move. I don't know if you can even tell it's moving. See if you can see this one over here. Well, I can't get the light down there where you can see it. But anyway, the cable just barely moves. That may be part of my linkage or whatever, but I'm gonna put the camera on the tripod and take this front wheel off and see what we're dealing with on those brakes. And we'll take this front wheel off. Alright, next I'll have to take this castle nut off where we can pull this hub off to get to the brakes. Okay, well I've got the hub off, and actually the brake shoes don't look too bad. And of course with the drum off, when you squeeze it, it moves quite a bit, but it's really hard to move. So I think what I'll do is get some brake clean. This shoe has kind of got a lot of buildup on it. Take some brake clean and clean all this out real good, and maybe put a little grease or something on here. I don't know if you're supposed to do that or not. I'll try not to get it all over everything else. And grease this up out here a little bit where it's easier to move. Maybe I can get some WD-40 or something in that cable to help lube that cable a little bit. But we'll see how that goes. pretty good. Let's see if that helps any. Okay, I got everything cleaned up good. I took a little fine sandpaper to the inside of the hub and to the shoes. Hope this is correct to do, but I put a little grease in here and everything seems to move a little easier than it did. Trying not to get any grease on the pads or where it could get on the hub or the pad. Oiled up the cable, but gonna put all this back together, get the wheels on it, see what it does, and then we'll go from there. Alright, let's tighten up the wheel, see if we did anything. It's got a little pressure on it now. I may have to go with a different way of mashing the front brakes from the back brakes because it's so hard to get a balance on adjusting between tensioning the front brakes and tensioning the back brakes. So I may have to go with a hand lever for the front brakes or something like that. I don't know yet, but well, we'll ride it around and see if that's helped any. Okay, one of the things I noticed, this is what I'm using to adjust the brakes of the front brakes. It hooks in right here, then it hooks into this lever here, which pivots back and forth. And I'll show you from underneath. It's hooked to a lever right there that you can't really tell it, but right up inside of there, that's the original handbrake for the front brakes off of the four-wheeler. And I hooked the linkage into it to actually squeeze the lever of the front brakes. And I noticed up top my adjuster that I had on there was actually, as you were mashing the brake in and out, this thing is rubbing on the frame right here and it's actually unscrewing it. So I just put a jam nut on there and I'm going to put it all back together and see if this helps, because you could adjust it, get good front brakes, and then all of a sudden the brakes would get worse. So I'm pretty sure that was probably part of the reason, was that thing was unscrewing and cutting off the tension to the front brakes. Alright, we want to see if we have it adjusted good. Alex, mash it all the way down and hold it. Alright, the band looks like it's fully closing. Alright, now let off of it. That's tensioning the front brakes. Alright, mash it. There you go. Mash it. Hold it. Oh yeah, we got good tension there now. Alright, let me check the other side. Let off. Oh, this side's dragging a little bit. Probably have to adjust it. Alright, mash it. Oh yeah, we got good tension on there. Alright, maybe that took care of the problem. As you can see, I put a jam nut on it right there to keep that from rolling. It's dragging on this frame just a little bit. So what was happening was it was rolling on that frame, turning it and loosening it up. So we'll take it out, ride it, see what it does. Alright, one thing I did notice on our test run is when we push forward on this, it's catching the piece of flooring right there. If you go far enough, it tries to jump up on there. It's wanting to bend this bracket up right here. So I'm either going to bend this piece up or weld a piece to the top of it where it will actually hook up here a little further. I'm afraid if I just turn this hook over, the hook is going to be digging into this metal down here. So I think probably I'll take this bracket off right here and bend the end of it up and see what that does. Alright, so here's what I did. I just took that piece of metal that I had used as a pivot point right there, and I just bent the end of it up. And oh boy, does it work so much easier now that it's not dragging on anything. So hopefully that's cured the problem. I don't know if it's still going to be enough brakes. I'm probably going to have to convert it over to disc brakes, but anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for right now. I think that's all I'm going to do to it for this time. But there's my exhaust that I made. I put a tip on it, made a little bit of a muffler, plugged the end of the pipe with a big bolt, and I cut slits in it all around the outside edge of the inner pipe, and then put this over top of it. Fixing to take it off and probably spray paint it black with some heat paint. Alright, this is what the exhaust looks like after we got it all painted up with some flat black heat paint. Alex is putting on the seat belt, just finishing up what we had taken apart. And that should do it for this video. We'll do some more things on this go-kart at a later time. So anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Be sure and like and share my videos, and appreciate it.